All right, time for lunch. Let's head over to the kitchen now and say hello to ABC7 Culinary Director Judi Gallagher. Hi, Judi. What's for lunch today?
Well, hi, Scott. Today we're having rack of lamb, and I picked two different rack of lambs. Each were about $21, and you think about it, a 6-bone is going to feed 2 people. So it really does, it does make it affordable. And I am marrying some of my favorite cherry tomatoes. For a while, we didn't see so many cherry tomatoes. We just saw grape tomatoes. Well, they are now cultivating these unbelievable organic cherry tomatoes, and I'm using them in a lot of ingredients. So I took out an old Jamie Oliver recipe that I am so fond of, where he takes fingerling potatoes, parboils them, then smashes them in the pan after the lamb has been seared. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to season the lamb and get the pan ready, so when you come back we can start searing it off, and then I'll show you some great flavors that we're going to add and the vegetables, and roast that in the oven. So stay with me, we're coming back with a delicious lunch.
All right, back to the kitchen now. Check in again with Culinary Director Judi Gallagher. Judi?
Okay, Scott, so I've seasoned the rack of lamb with garlic salt mixture and a little basil rosemary salt. I also put a little olive oil in the pan, and what I do is I drop the rosemary right in there. So that burnt rosemary, we're going to discard. We're going to remove the lamb from the pan, and now comes the fun part. Now the lamb is not going to be cooked all the way through because we're going to finish it off in the oven. So next, you're just going to smash those fingerling potatoes and crush them in your hand a little bit. Great Jamie Oliver trick. I used to just use fingerling or red potatoes roasted, and this really adds a lot of flavor, and you're going to see why in just a couple minutes. So we'll let that start to brown just a little bit, and then we're going to want to add a little more seasoning, so a little garlic salt in there. And a lot of the flavor is going to roast down from the lamb, so you already have that seasoned. I want to show you the top part is already browned off. So when I put this on the pan in the oven, we're going to put it opposite way. When it completely comes out, you're going to see that you have that beautiful rack of lamb. You roast that for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You want to keep it a medium rare. Okay, the potatoes are just starting to get a little crisp on the outside, which is perfect. So now we're going to bring our game up a little bit. You know how I always say shop your refrigerator? I had a half a head of cauliflower, and I love roasted cauliflower. So this is just going to be a great addition. And then I had a zucchini, so I'm just going to cut the zucchini in long sticks here, and then I'm going to put in some rosemary and thyme, and I'm going to take about 8 cloves of garlic, still with the skin on, and I want to get all that extra flavor that's right there, okay? So what we're going to do now, add those beautiful cherry tomatoes and some olives, and then this is going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. When we come back, I can show you how to plate and serve. It's smelling really awesome in this kitchen today.
All right, back to the kitchen now. And someone who doesn't like snakes, I know that. Judi Gallagher.
Won't be cooking that for lunch today. Let's get back to the oven. Now remember, what we did was we seared that rack of lamb after seasoning it. And I should mention, I always like, if you're cooking red meat, what you want to do is you want to let it sit out on the counter for a minimum of a half an hour. Rack of lamb isn't thick, so you're fine with a half an hour. But for roasts, I usually do an hour or so. Now look at this. We're going to just see where we're at right here. Oh yeah, it's going to be perfect. What I can feel is we probably have to roast the cauliflower about, I'd say 5 more minutes, but I can go ahead and plate. Now if it's just the 2 of us, I love to just serve it on a cutting board, and I can just run my French knife right down the middle, and we'll each get half. I also want to show you about the garlic. Remember we added the garlic still with the peel on. It pops right off, so you can just warn your guests, but what happens is it doesn't burn, it doesn't get any bitter taste, which is perfect. So we have a few pieces of cauliflower that are definitely ready to come out. Zucchini doesn't take that long, and of course we have those delicious pitted Kalamata olives. So, and we have the herbs. So we're going to go ahead and put that around. And I feel like I want probably about, I can feel by pushing on the lamb that we need about 5 more minutes on that. So watch this trick, okay? Crank that oven up to 400, a little drizzle more on the olive oil, and we'll get that last piece right there. Let's put that back in the oven. Like I said, just to give the cauliflower time and to give the lamb enough time. You're gonna get the lamb to rare, then you're gonna let it rest, and it's gonna come out to the plate about medium rare. So the last thing that I like to do to just really bring it over the top, and I normally have a lot of pesto at home. I was in a hurry last night when I went to Whole Foods, so I bought some 3-herb and arugula pesto. And what I do is I just put that as a garnish over here, and then you can just slide the potatoes and the vegetables right through it, and it's going to taste so good. Now you can also put a little, here I have 1 rack done, and just give it a little spread on top because it's just going to be a nice shine. Now similar when you're eating at a great Greek restaurant, we have some lemon, so a little squeeze of lemon on the potatoes, you have the garlic and all the other flavors, just brings it to that next level. After I give it a squeeze, what I do is I save these lemons because they can go in a marinade. There's still a little juice left to them, or they can go on the grill. That's going to be perfect. But once we get that second rack of lamb out, all I have to do is cut it in half. We each have our piece. 2 great ways to serve it, and it is a crowd pleaser, whether it's 2 or whether it's 20. So stay with me. We're going to come back for a taste in just a few minutes, and don't forget it's Wednesday, which means you can be one of the winners for a dining gift certificate for $50. So get on our dining page and enter the contest. I'll be back in a few minutes. And here we have it, both displayed. I cut this in half so you can see how when you follow that recipe, it really does come out a nice medium rare. You can always use an instant read thermometer. You don't need the kind that stays in it to get that grasp of a good medium rare. We have all the roasted vegetables, zucchini, cauliflower, and I have that 3-herb arugula pesto that's just gonna bring it over the edge. If you want this recipe, go on to mysuncoast.com and click on the recipes. It'll be right there for you. Visit our dining page with all the different restaurant families as well. Scott, I'm gonna slice up a couple pieces for you and I'll be right over.